And welcome back. Joining us for our second conversation, we have with us Her Excellency Nicole Davison, the British High Commissioner to Belize. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you again.
Good morning. So we're here to discuss the High Commissioner for a day in Belize. Before we get started with the competition, I think it would be a good idea to brief us on what it takes to be a High Commissioner and your responsibilities and your duties.
Well, I mean, what it takes to be a High Commissioner, I mean, that's quite a hard one to answer because we obviously have many ambassadors and many High Commissioners around the world who have different types of personalities. But I think it does take a certain amount of being able to engage with people, to be able to kind of make contacts and kind of understand the country that you're working in. But, you know, apart from that, we're relatively agnostic about what it takes in terms of, you know, personalities and characteristics and we do have a full range of those within the Foreign Office. And as to the second question was?
Your roles and your
the roles and responsibilities, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, basically, my job is to forge the best possible relationship that I can between the UK and Belize. So that involves really looking for any opportunities where we might work together, where we can further our relationship, where we can collaborate on things like projects, etc. It's also to kind of represent the UK in Belize and make sure that we talk about the UK's priorities, but also do the reverse in terms of making sure that Belize has a good profile with colleagues back in the government in the UK as well. So basically looking for any way where we can make that relationship tighter.
Wonderful.
So how do we arrive at being a High Commissioner for a day? Where does the initiative come from and what does it seek to achieve?
Well, so the initiative, as much as I'd like to claim it, is not entirely new within our governmental system. So we have a number of embassies and high commissions around the world who've actually been doing this for a little while. And I think, I want to say, I think it was our embassy in Copenhagen that started this about 8 or 9 years ago or so. And others have picked it up over time, but we've never done it in Belize. And basically what we would like to do is just invite a young woman to come and spend the day with us, to actually not just shadow me, but actually to do my job for a day. So I'll just sit to one side and rest. But the idea is, the reason we do it now is because we link it to March and International Women's Day and try and bring that gender lens to it as well. And what we'd really like to do is just demystify the position a bit. Have someone in to kind of see what we do, expose them a little bit to the world of international diplomacy. And the reason we went for the age range 15 to 18, and we can get onto that in a minute as to who we're looking for, but it's because that's kind of round about the time when you're thinking about what would I like to do next, what will my course of study be to take me on a certain career path, and that's why we went for that age range.
So they're going to shadow you, being High Commissioner for a day. They're going to see the tasks at hand. They're going to see what all it takes basically to make these collaborations happen and so forth. So let's talk about requirements then. Who are you looking for? You did say a young woman. You did say from the ages of 15 to 18. But what would I have to do? How would I have to convince you to pick me?
Well, so we're looking for a young Belizean woman between the ages of 15 to 18. She has to be available to spend the Wednesday, the 10th of April with us, the full day. And then aside of that, the actual entry requirements are we're looking for someone to send us a video, a 1-minute video, and in that to answer the question, if you were High Commissioner for a day, what would your priorities be and what would you do to advance inclusion? So basically answer that question in a 1-minute video. Now, as to who we're looking for, somebody who can convince us on both of those questions.
That's pretty hard.
I'm hoping that we'll get a fair number of entries. So what I would say is that we're looking for those that are going to stand out. You know, something has to convince us in that particular video as to why you're the best candidate for this position.
That's pretty hard. How do you answer that question in a minute and stand out from I would assume numerous applications, but in terms of what you hope to do with this, what do you expect that this type of competition or this type of, rapport with the Belizean community would do for the British High Commission?
Well, I think what I hope it would do is that it just further shows that we really want to help young women advance in Belize, and that we want to have that conversation. We want to engage with the next generation. We want to get to know what's on people's minds as they kind of go through their education and think about their future. But what I would also hope in reverse is that whoever our successful candidate is, that it might just instill something in them as to a really good experience that might make them think about their future career path, etc. But also that they would take away from the day having learnt about how to network, how to forge contacts. We'll be looking for them to actually engage in the meetings that we're going to set up for them. So a little bit of public speaking and how you present yourself. So, and we will be there throughout to guide them throughout the day. But what I would hope is that somebody would just take away a really positive experience about seeing just how a different organisation works, what it means to be engaged in this field of work, and forge perhaps connections that might take them forward into their next stage as they think about their future.
I don't think we've had this
Yeah.
before in Belize. I think it's a great opportunity to provide a young person with these skills that you don't necessarily get in regular academic setting like that. I know until you do like a mock interview, that's when you kind of get all of these different communication skills.
It'll be interesting.
Yes.
I would look at perhaps this first one, since you're introducing it to Belize for the first time, as sort of the inaugural version, right? So it would be interesting for me to see which young lady between the ages of 15 and 18 steps up to the plate and takes this on. Because as a parent, I'm already looking to next year. So.
Oh, you're hoping. Right. So that would be my next question. This is something that you would hope would continue annually, yes?
I hope so, I hope so. And hopefully my colleagues won't kill me for promising this on air. But if this goes well, I'm hoping that it'll become a regular series. And then we'll see how this year goes, whether we maybe want to extend it out further to maybe look at broaden the age range, or maybe bringing in young men as well. But that's certainly open for discussion. But I think for this first one, what I would say to anyone thinking about applying, it's not scary, it's not terrifying. It is, we're not going to...
It doesn't sound scary.
No, exactly. And it's basically, it's just to sort of give someone an insight into this different world. But I am hoping that it will be the start of a series that we can look to replicate in future years.
I think it's a great idea. It's like kid president. You know, you want to, when you are a kid and you're thinking about all the ways that you think you could make the world a better place, here is an opportunity where you can be in that position, even if it's just for a day, and see if you can implement it. If it's as easy, right, quote unquote, as easy as making a decision or signing a paper, right, and all of the thoughts that have to go into these decision makings. But I guess the nitty-gritty part of it will come when they get the opportunity. But
I think what fascinates me is the idea of inclusion, as you mentioned earlier. Not only are we looking at women, we're looking at young women, because between the ages of 15 and 18, as you mentioned earlier, these teenagers are still trying to figure out more or less where they want to go in terms of their academic pursuits, or in terms of their professional pursuits at that point. And so giving them an opportunity to look at diplomacy through this lens, I think is an excellent start for anyone who has that interest.
We do have the Children's Parliament, which is one thing that gets the kids involved in certain aspects of our legislation system in Belize. But this is an opportunity, I think, for them to see how the outside operates as well, right? So yeah, I think it's excellent. So just for us to understand what you've already given us the requirements, the qualifications. So then how can they apply to do this?
So the easiest thing is to go to our social media pages. So on Facebook, go to British High Commission Belize, or on Instagram at UK in Belize, and follow the instructions there. Basically, like the pages, that's always important, and then follow the instructions as to how to submit a video. But basically, we're looking for a bit of creativity as well. I'd love to see something of the person's environment, of where they live, that type of thing. So make it sort of stand out in some way. But all the instructions are on our two social media pages, Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, and deadlines?
The deadline for submission is the 12th of March. Then after that, we'll be convening a panel to go through all the videos, and we'll make our decision by the 26th of March and hope to announce by the 28th of March.
And then April is when they get to...
April the 10th is the day that they'll spend with us, yeah.
If we can sort of segue from the competition for a second and look at some of the works and the projects that you've been involved with so far, and perhaps what we can expect from the British High Commission for the 2024 calendar.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, so we have a number of multi-year projects that are going on, some of them very heavily climate related. So, for example, the Ocean Clean Partnerships Programme, which we've been on this show to talk about before, where we work with the government of Belize in terms of cleaning up oceans and technical assistance and data monitoring around that. That's continuing for a few more years yet. We also will shortly be looking at the Biodiverse Landscape Fund, which is now about to start rolling out, which is basically a 4-country project looking at biodiverse landscapes and the preservation of those landscapes. That will start soon. That's also a multi-year project. We are just concluding the second infrastructure project. We had the first one, which was the Coastal Highway, which opened in July last year. The second one up by Philip Goldson Ramate Bypass, that will conclude in April of this year and be formally opened round about then. So that's another project that we're working on. And then other than that, we're kind of looking forward to building up what the next round of projects might look like. So we've got some exciting stuff coming up, hopefully on gender as well, continuing with the climate funding too. And then other than that, it's just a busy year generally. We're probably looking at general elections in the UK at some point as well. So just continuing on those multi-year projects that we already have in existence.
I think it's important to highlight, since we're talking about this competition and of course your role as High Commissioner, this substantial amount of collaborations that we have with the UK. I know that we talk about, being a former colony and so forth, but the fact that we're still able to have these projects and these sponsorships and fundings from the United Kingdom, I think it's excellent for us to highlight. So when it comes to this particular competition, is that something that the winner will also be privy to, will also know all of these projects, will also know all of these collaborations as well?
Yeah, absolutely, because I mean the day will be sort of in several parts, and one of the things that we'll do is make sure that we give the winner a full introduction to the range of the work that we do within the High Commission. So she'll get a full tour of all the things that we cover, and then we'll set up some external meetings. Hopefully will culminate in a small reception where she can then meet some of the wonderful women that we work with in different spheres. So, but learning about what we do and the range of the work within the High Commission, of which the projects are really a key component part, will be certainly key to the day as well.
I don't think a day is enough.
No, I don't think it's enough either, actually. I don't think it's enough, but we'll start
it's
small.
Start.
It's a start. It's a start.
And since this is something that you've said that other countries have done, can you give us a little bit of a summary of how it's worked for them, or how
it's worked really well across the board. Wherever it's been done has always worked really well. And what's been really nice is that in countries where it's been running for several years, they've now sort of built up almost like an alumni program. And they bring back previous winners to engage with the winners of this generation. So it's just also a really good way to kind of foster connections with the next generation. So I've taken a lot of inspiration from how well this has worked elsewhere around the world, and really hope that it's something that we can replicate here in Belize on a regular basis, and then also looking forward, building up that alumni, building up those future connections in a way that we do with other things that we do, such as achieving scholarships, for example.
Right.
And it's just another way that we can get out and about and kind of really engage. And the other thing that I'm hoping is that we'll get some really good applications from around the country. We're completely open-minded as to where the successful applicant will come from, and it'd be really nice to maybe see some of the less obvious places reflected in the winners' origins and that. So I'm certainly hopeful, looking at other countries around the world and how well it's gone, that we'll be able to do the same here.
Wonderful. One more time for our viewers, where and when and how they can apply.
Okay, so go to either Facebook, British High Commission Belmopan, or at UK in Belize on Instagram. check out the requirements there. It gives you all the instructions as to where to email the video. Basically, we're looking for a 1-minute video answering the question as to, if you were High Commissioner for a day, what would your priorities be and what would you do to advance inclusion? Send us a 1-minute video answering that in a creative way, and then
1 minute exact?
We're looking for pretty much 1 minute exact. So, I mean, we've probably got like a couple of seconds leeway either side, but by the 12th of March.
By the 12th of March.
Yep.
Wonderful. I would like to say a huge thank you so much, Your Excellency, for coming in. Be the British High Commissioner for a Day competition. The deadline is 12th of March. Send in your videos now. I'm pretty sure you could think of many reasons why you should be selected. And don't be afraid to send your applications. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's our final conversation. Have you ever seen a Maya wedding? Okay, well, the folks in studio will be here to tell us about a Maya wedding reenactment ceremony. Stay with us. We'll be right back.